Hi everybody, welcome back. I'm a minute late. I can't believe that happened. I'm so sorry. I am so sorry. I hope you weren't saying, good heavens, what's happened to her? What happened was I fell down a rabbit hole, which often happens. Cheers. I look a little frazzled this morning and I'll explain why. Ah, it almost doesn't matter what's in the beverage. It's that it's warm, right? It's warm on the throat. It's like the opposite on a hot, hot day. You just want something cool on the throat. This is the reverse. Ah. So I'm looking a little frazzled because, hang on, click. Hi, everyone. Welcome back. Because I had a weird night's sleep. And I think we all have those from time to time. And I wanted to talk about it because it's in conjunction with today's video. We don't give ourselves time to process. I talk about this all the time with clients who say, I don't know, I'm just overwhelmed. I can't get stuff done. And what happens, I have this form that I give all my clients, and I do it in a way that they can just keep, refreshing it. And it's called the time scheduler. And I created it back in 2004 when I started my Now What Strategies consulting. And what I was doing for people was giving them, good morning, Miss Maggie. What I was doing for people was giving them the reset button. Everybody needs the reset button. And we're never issued it when we're born, and we spend our whole lives looking for it, and we don't realize that it's actually a set of steps. It's a set of steps designed to remind us where we are in the room, where we are in the moment, get our bearings. I'm this many feet from that tree, and I'm that many feet from that rock. And we can forget that. We can feel a little disoriented and not really understand why everything feels so out of kilter. My goodness, I do look like I fell off something. I'm sorry. I should look much more polished than that. However, maybe you've had these days too. So what happens when we don't give ourselves time, when we forget that everything needs that kind of after something. And when we forget that, good morning, Charles, good morning. Abby mom is looking a little more like mom than Abby this morning. When we don't give ourselves time to process what just happened, when we just keep saying, well, that was something, and carry on, studies have shown that when there's an interrupt, when there's a disrupt to the process, the normal flow, it takes us a good 20 seconds to get our full focus on the new thing. So for those of us who are trying to multitask, we're not really completely in either pond. We got one foot here and one foot here, and our brain is trying to manage stuff. And then on top of that, if we don't give ourselves that few seconds pause, that, oh, okay, clear, and we're back. If we don't do that, we're carrying the dregs of it with us. So what happened yesterday afternoon, was a celebration of life for someone that I knew very well for a military brat, a long time. And not only did I know them well, but it was a small, close-knit community. And moving into that community and then getting connected and involved and integral in that community was something very new for me. And for everybody else, of course, they were born there, they lived there, that's their normal. And I came in and they sort of, shoved over and made room, and I sat down and became part of, at least sort of kind of part of, everything and everyone. And then that chapter in my life closed fairly suddenly, and I yoinked myself out, plopped myself down someplace else as my life unfolds. Good morning, Warren. How nice to see you. And I went back. I have been back many times, but I went back yesterday with a specific task. because this person I knew very well had passed. And the local watering hole, not open on Mondays, had decided to say, come on down. And it was absolutely packed. Pulled up, Gary and I pulled up, absolutely packed. And I said, all right then, let's do this. And walking in to a familiar place, I go frequently, I think just a few weeks ago, in fact, filled with the current regulars, filled with people I've known a long time, and then coming face to face with family, and that member of that part of the tribe, and that one, and this one. And I wasn't prepared. I was prepared because we go to these things. I wasn't prepared. And when I posted this morning on Facebook, the lead in for this, I said it was like finding yourself on an airplane, looking out the window and realizing you were time traveling, because the view from the window was then, and the aisle seat was now. And it's surreal to have one foot firmly planted where you know you planted it and realize that the other foot is being dragged back into that place, that time, not now. And to turn around and see someone I haven't seen in a very long time, and turn my head and see someone I talked to last week, was for a military child one of the most unexpected, confusing, discombobulating, disorienting things. So we stayed for, I don't know, a couple of hours, maybe 3 hours. And I got to see everybody. I got to see all my now everybody's. I got to see all my then everybody's. And I could tell in a way by their eyes that seeing me for them was having the same effect. Nobody recoiled in horror, blissfully. Nobody said, oh my God, oh my God. It was very odd. And then the drive back, and we decided to go and get something to eat to try and reset and resort that. Because Gary has moved from a couple of big jobs and left those lives and those careers behind. And our paths crossed, and we realized we had this brilliant opportunity that would come once in a lifetime with his background in mind, that we could really make something of this whole Pivotry project that I've been working on. And for him to watch me going through what he's been going through, the drive back was sort of so that's what it was like for you the other day. Yeah, because he could see the look on my face before I said, oh, because it was a constant moment of shock, aftershock, shock, without really that 20 seconds in between. So the cumulative effect, when we left, we went and got something to eat and sat down, was sort of, holy crap. And I wanted to talk about that because for those of us who have had transient lives, we've moved away and then we have the opportunity to go back. When we go back, they have continued at their pace. That life in that place has remained. When we go back, we're like strangers from a strange land dropped in, because we bring with us all of the new memories that we've been making since we've been gone. And it reminded me so much in so many of the stories, so many of the conversations that Gary and I are having about Pivotry and talking to new clients, that change is hard when we didn't think of it. When I left, I made a change. They did not. When I came face to face with them yesterday, we saw the distance we'd come. We could still see all the past. And we were for a moment standing together in the same spot in the present. But their present wasn't my present, hasn't been my present since all that time ago. So people going away to fight the good fight and come back, people who get a life, take a life, live a life. I don't mean take as in take, I mean take, live that life and then check back. It's astonishing. We don't notice how much a tree grows until we turn our head for a year or two. We don't see how tall and lush the flowers have become until we move away and we compare photos. And by the same token, we don't see the change in me until we look through their eyes. When I turned a corner yesterday and this voice said, Abby, as I live and breathe, Abby, my God, look at you, girl. I turned around and it was an old friend, an old mutual friend, and I'd done some work with him. I said, good heavens, how are you? And we hugged and he said, this is the woman. And I said, this is my partner. And we talked. And I said, what are you doing? And he said, I've hit a couple of rough patches, but I'm fine. I'm here. I'm still standing. And I said, talk to me about the rough patches. And he said, why? What are you up to? And meanwhile, Gary had been talking to his lady, and his lady said, you need to listen to this. Because he'd hit a snag. His business had hit a wall. Bang, thud. And he was just coming back. And I said, I help people figure out which way they want to face when they get their feet back under them. And he said, maybe I could use that. And I said, alrighty then, let's talk. We exchanged our business cards and we chatted a bit about this and that. And then we moved on. I said, later you're going to, and he said, absolutely. So I had not realized that that is in fact what I have done with every single client. I've helped them get their feet back under them when the path got crossed or double crossed, when they thought a thing and it wasn't true. I help them get the better point of view, get the real one, get the one that they own. I give them their ownership, their agency back. I say, your seat's at the front, you're driving the bus. And that's really what a Now What strategy was. That's what Pivotry in Motion is. That's what the lion effect is about. We all hit walls, no question. Good morning, Freddie. We all hit walls. We all fall down. We all say, give me a minute, and then we all get back up. And what surprises us and concerns us and off-puts us a little is that when we do get back up, it doesn't feel the same, because it isn't. It isn't the same. And we don't know how to define that. We didn't come with an instruction book that says, when you fall down, do this. And what I try to do from my perspective, and Gary does, of course, too, is to say, that's normal. Let me tell you how I know. Let me tell you what I do specifically for situations and people like you. And then we walk them through it. And it's so great. It's so gratifying. I mean, Maggie and I have been talking about this. It is so great and so gratifying to find yourself talking to someone who isn't giving you a cookie cutter, just fill this in and take 2 of these and call me in the morning. That it's somebody who says quite openly, there are still dents in the walls that I hit. That's how hard I hit them. There are still scuff marks where I hit the floor. And little scrabble marks where I managed to get myself back up. I know where you are. I know what it's like. I can't know exactly your thing, your shock, your pain, but I know that it exists. And I know that it's real. And I know that we didn't cause it. It's not our flaw. It's not our weakness. It's our moment when we take that 10-second pause and say, okay, where was I? And get back up. And what my past experience and Gary's gave me the permission and the tools to do was walk my way through all the weirdness, all the wonky land beneath my feet. And I slept heavily. I didn't wake up in the night. I slept hard, but I didn't sleep because it was a lot for my brain to process while I was gone. It was a lot to work through. So this morning, what I want to say to you in this kind of gloomy gray day is it's okay. It's okay. We all go through that yesterday. We all turn randomly and find that our yesterday has stopped by to say hello. And it's as discombobulated as we are. Because, oh my God, look at you. One person I was very close to, I met almost the minute we walked in the door, and I got a hug, and I didn't know who it was. 15, 20 minutes later, she came up, and I said, I'm sorry. And she said, you had no idea. And I said, no. And she said, have I changed that much? And I said, yeah. Yes, you have. I don't know what I was expecting. And she said, that's okay. You know what's amazing? You haven't. I said, oh yeah, sure I have. I just use the familiar markers so people can recognize me faster, sooner, easier, that's all. It's easier than renting a billboard. Abby's back. So what I want to talk about today is how we navigate that. Because that was something. That was amazing. So hang on. The present is always present. When we check out, it's still here. It's not standing still. It's still here. The present is in constant motion. It's constantly evolving. It's always present. So in those odd moments when we come face to face with the past, looking like it's not sure how it got here, and we stare at it and it stares at us, the present is all encompassing. It's all around us. The past, my past, that past, the shared past, for a brief moment, is in the present, weaving itself into everything that is now. It's bizarre. It's like getting dressed, leaving the house, looking down at your feet, and finding yourself wearing a today shoe and a shoe you haven't seen or thought of, let alone worn, in 20 years. How the hell did I do that? Where the hell has that other shoe been? Have I been waiting for it to drop all this time? And the answer is yes. Without thinking about it, we do wait. If it isn't resolved in the moment, there is a part of us that is always waiting for that other shoe eventually somewhere to drop. We don't know whether we expect to hear it or trip over it. We just, part of us, the subconscious part of us, is waiting for that. Some people call it closure. Some people call it, oh yeah, there it is. There it is, the thing I had almost forgotten that I remembered. So, why this is important. Pivotry in motion is a resetting tool. It's deciding to go back to school, to take that last course, to check off that last box on the list. Only that last course isn't that last course from long ago. It's the refresher course for now, to make us say, yeah, I'm good. I'm here. I got it. I know what's going on. And if we don't give ourselves those moments, when we don't give our loved ones permission to go and live there briefly, to reconnect, reset, reevaluate, reassess what we thought we knew, we're crowding them, we're pushing them, because if they were ready to have us, we'd be there too. Now, I want to explain what this recess and this reassess is. Memory is a funny thing. The things we would swear on a stack of all the right books, this is what actually happened, is close. It's not completely factual because we don't hang on to the absolute specific detail by detail details. We remember that it happened and more vividly how we felt. And as time telescopes and we move forward, we bring that feeling and we bring that general recollection with us. And we keep it with us somewhere, in a little box, tucked away, so that we never forget how it felt. And when it happens again, we say, yeah, that's going to be one of those. And we can choose to lean in or bypass. And why this is so important is that it also, in the same way that it gives us the power to lean in, to actually lean in and savor and look at it, is it also gives us the power and the tools to say thank you and let it go. Say thank you. Go back. Get the bag. Get the suitcase. Unpack it. Look at it. Thank it. And let it go. The thing about baggage, especially emotional baggage, is that it's invisible and we keep tripping over it if we don't do something with it. And I didn't know if I would ever have that opportunity, whether I would miss the moment of the gathering that would allow me to be there present, surrounding and surrounded by. And as it happened, I managed to be there. I managed to experience it. Disorienting? Yes, if you went to sleep in your town and woke up in another, yep, that's why people who get abducted are so disoriented for so many years. They woke up someplace else and then they woke up back home. And it's this. So the reason this is relevant now to all of us, whether we're packing and moving, so we're in transit, or we're where we've always been meant to be, or we're kind of checking the horizon, whether we're leading or following, or enjoying our retirement, it's important to take that moment and look at it and say, look at that version of the me and thee and them. Look at that. I was there. I was there. And now I'm here. And so are they. And our paths have crossed differently today. We look at each other and they say, wasn't that something? And we all say, yep. And then we get to choose brand new to reconnect or move on through. When you say, are you going to call me? And they say, yeah. And they look you in the eye. You still don't know if they will until they do. And because I left, I asked them, call me. Call me. And they said yes. Because it was their space that I was invited into and remains their space today. And I was a traveler, as are we all. So the hack, the how, the what do I do with that, is to give yourself permission to be discombobulated. Give yourself permission to say, and then, this is so important. Thank the people who have stayed with you. Thank the people who have joined you. Thank them for giving you the space and the time and being there to witness it. So that when we need to unburden, they were in it. They see it. They saw it. They got it. And all they have to do is say, I'm glad you're allowing me to do this with you. It's going to be my turn soon. Because we do keep cycling back, circling back. We do keep tripping over the previous versions of us. And they're not necessarily supposed to be reconnected the way they were. It's like getting out of a taxi that someone's getting into. And we both have places we need to be. And it's good to see you. Yes. And then move on. Thank the moment, thank the universe, and move on. So we can all get back to being this current, present, evolving version of me. That was a day, a very full day of a lot of layered, conflicting, confusing, happy, sad, shocked, just fragments of things. Wonderful bumping intos, hugs from people, with people, making the same snide remarks we've always made. Saying, see you soon? Yeah, absolutely. And whether that's true, it was true in the moment. And that was what we needed. Because we are all these little boats bobbing. And once in a while, we hail each other. And sometimes we raft together and sail together until it's time to cut free. And the thing that is so difficult to explain to people as a transient is that the people who've always lived where they've always lived and loved what they've always loved, they have a different sense of urgency. Transient knows there's a transfer coming soon. There's a shift. I can feel the wind. The tide is turning. We feel it, sense it, hear it, taste it, touch it sooner. I am more impatient. I want to make sure I get full value before the tide carries us apart. And it's difficult for me to explain that to people because it's not It's not a normal for everyone. And it's in those moments when we realize, as I said before, how tall the tree has grown. I had no idea the flowers would turn out like that. So you finally painted that brick. Those are the kinds of conversations you have when you go out of your way to connect. When it comes as a surprise and you go there still rubbing the sleep out of your eyes, it's a tap dance. It's an emotional tap dance. It's a mental tap dance. It's a physical tap dance to get your feet under you, to figure out what to do. And there's an odd tug at something, a string that's integral. When somebody raises their glass, and without thinking, you raise yours too. Because bang, this one is exactly overlaid on the last one. And it's a, and so it starts, and then there's a falter, and then a follow through. So for all of us, you knew this was coming, right? For all of us, for all the things that we're going through, for all the moments that we're hanging on to, for all the surprises, for all the yeses, for all the gosh, I hopes and fingers crossed, there is within it waiting the moment when we cross, when change has arrived and the door is open and we walk through. There is a moment when we look back and wave at everything we knew. It's large. It's not grief. The tears are not sad. The tears are surprise. The tears are wonder. The tears are, I'm alive. I'm alive in the time that I'm living. We all need these jolts. We all need these moments to remind us that we may have been coasting. We may have been taking it easy. We may have not noticed, or we've closed our eyes, that by coasting, by taking it easy, the bright, sharp, crisp edge of our excellence has been eroding. And our I'm walking here has been a bit of a slide. So moments like my day yesterday with Gary, with my longtime friends and partners in crime, was one of those. This is where I am today. This is who I've chosen to be. This is what I'm becoming. And in this becoming, I'm catching a glimpse of the beginning of that. When I said goodbye and thanks to that time in the past, the good and the bad and the what the hell was I thinking? And the universe helped me set myself free. We need those. We need someone to be inconvenient and give us a good, sharp nudge and say, you know, there is more. This is not all there was meant to be. You are more. And it's waiting for you when you're ready. That's what yesterday was for me. And I wanted to share that because we're all going through it. The work that we're doing, Pivotry in Motion, is reaching out to people saying, ready? We got you. Come on. Come on. We can do this. I'm doing it. Care to dance? Pivotry in Motion is that moment yesterday, when we see everything clearly and we say, I choose me. I chose me. And I still do and will. Because that's what I'm meant to be. So, having said all of this today, your Now What Scheduler is a list of all the things you typically do in a day. It's 8 columns. 8 columns? 9 columns. The list of all the things you do. You know, you sleep, you get up, you get dressed, you make breakfast, you eat breakfast, you clean up after breakfast, you get everything else organized. You plan your next steps. If you're commuting, you commute. When you get to where you commuted, you get on with the next thing. And all the times that it takes to do each of those functions, there's a box for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and so on. How much time did that take? How much time does it typically take? Write it down. Spend 1 week figuring out where you are and who you are and what you're doing. TV time, screen time, lie face down on the kitchen floor time, put it in. And then go back and remember to put in the 20 seconds between each one, the transition. Because you don't just, hey, presto, beam me up, go from one to the other. It takes a transition. Shift out of one gear through neutral into the next. And at the end of the day, you're always going to have 24 hours. You know, there's none left over. You never get a do-over. At the end of the day, when you look and you say, wow, that's a lot of time I spend doing that. I had no idea. Because the last category, just before total, you're right in that blank space, the new thing, whatever the new thing is. Because that gives you the opportunity to visually realize that you have to compromise on other things in order to make room for the new one. We can't live fully in the present. We can't make room for the present if we spend far too much of our day on the past. We have to limit our time there to be able to do the things we're meant to do and be free the way we're meant to be now, here, 100%, all in. So I'm going to be putting those forms together and figure out how to make them downloadable PDFs and whatever that language means, so that they'll be available to you. I'm already giving them. I give them to all my clients to be able to get themselves ready to figure out where they're going to fit us in, right? And they become kind of a touchstone, because every week you want to see how you're doing. I had no idea I spent that much time doing that. Well, how about this week? No, I cut it back. What are you doing instead? I'm doing this. All righty then. So when I leave you now, in preparation for seeing you on Thursday, before I say be good to you and all that, I first want to say, when you have the time to make the time, take a moment and be good to them to those people, to those versions of you. Be good to them. They served a purpose. Some of it may have been awful. Some of it may have been ho-hum. Some of it may have been amazing. But the combination, the recipe, has had a big factor in who you have chosen to become. You're not the product of those things, but they factor in to our decisions. They give us a chance to say, never doing that when it's my turn to be in charge. No way, Jose. And how could we know that if we hadn't been there? Or on the other side, I am never going to live without one of those. Oh my gosh, first time I said this is a permanent fixture in my life. How could we know that if it hadn't happened? Right? So before you be good to you and your loved ones now, take a moment and be good to them, to all those versions of you, and then, because they were where you began. And look who you've become. All right, so thank you for watching. Thank you for being part of this. Thank you for choosing to connect your own path, your own self, your own ideas, your own visions, your own beliefs to some of the things that I'm saying. We are a rare and wonderful tribe, thee and me. And don't you forget it. Okay. I will see you on Thursday. Remember to hug your loved ones and give yourself a kiss from me.